step on the floor. Feel the beat, let it glow. Everybody's here, let the good vibes show. Lead united, marching proud and strong. Dancing till the morning, all night long. Oh, we're marching on together, yeah. Good vibes rising, feel it everywhere. Last prediction, STACEY, Brittany, Jess, Banner Army crew, we're the best, oh yeah. Day buzz, we're dancing in line. From previews to reviews, it's party time. Fastest finger first, let the quiz begin. Cheering for leads, we always win. Mental health, we're here for you. Laughs and smiles will pull you through. Light it up, let the music play. Spanner Army dancing all the way. On together, yeah. Good vibes rising, feel it everywhere. Last prediction, STACEY, Renee, Jess, Banner Army crew, we're the best, oh
Good evening, everybody. Welcome into JSY Talks Crime. Please make sure we're smashing the like on the video, subscribing to the channel if we're new, hitting that notification bell, and as always, thank you for watching. How are we doing, Renee, love?
Doing good. Marshy's taking over the nap spot.
Where's Gemma been relegated to?
Gemma? I don't know. Oh, she's right here at the bottom of by my feet.
Oh, they're still loved up there.
Yeah, they're not. They fought about 5 minutes after we came off the stream, but they're good now.
Good. How are we doing, Stace?
I'm doing good. I'm looking forward to get this one out of the way.
Indeed. The judge is in the courtroom. Jules is in the house. That means. Anyway, you shouldn't have you as a judge because you're not allowed to drink when you're a judge. You've got to be polished. You know what I'm saying. Big up, Kev, mate. Hope you're doing well. Big up, Drew, love. I'll tell you what, this Milan Roma game's a bit spicy. So come on then, Stace. It's over to you now. This is your bit.
Oh. You like talk to me, don't you? I know. Give me 2 seconds, I'll take the light off.
Why do you think I sit in black?
You're right for crime. Hang on a minute.
Renee's going to get that cockerel out in a minute and start painting it.
I will. Yeah.
How's that, Drula?
Get my lights going here.
Lights are on, but there's no one home.
That's my friend now. That's not my friend.
Yeah, I look like I was being interrogated. What the hell?
Big up James Money, mate.
Hey, James.
There we go. Is that better, Drula?
We're all sat in darkish.
Still need some light to see.
Nah.
Right,
Order in the courtroom, Jules. I'm not being funny now. He looks a creepy fucker just before we even get into it.
Yeah.
He's one of them blokes that you'd look at and think he'd make your hair stand up on the back of your neck.
Yeah, really scary guy.
It was creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the wrong picture to use, but
Oh, I don't know. He already gives me creeps, and I don't know that much about him, but he already gives me creeps.
well, there to be
How old is he now? How old was he then?
He's 80 years old now. I was shocked when I thought he was 80.
This was 2000. Hang on a minute, I think it was 2005.
How come he got away with life sentences and not death penalty?
He absolutely got away with life sentences.
That's ridiculous.
I know. So it's because I'm gonna get some stitching done, Drula.
Like
She's gonna kill me.
So 2005. He
No.
was sentenced into his court case started in 2005.
Hang on a minute. How long did this killing spree go on for?
Oh, it went on for like 20 years.
20 years.
Crazy. Yeah. He did this. He started in the 70s. I think he stopped in 97 or something and then went quiet.
No, he went quiet and then hang on a minute. I have it here somewhere in a minute.
Stace has dates. But this guy
It took
was
another 20 years to catch him.
This guy was so scary. This went on, he terrorized Wichita, Kansas, which Kansas is in the middle of the country, Midwest. Terrorized Wichita for like 20-something years. This guy was scary. They could not catch him. They could not catch him until I really think he allowed himself to get caught personally. I really, yeah.
He stopped in 91.
91, okay.
So from 91 to 2005, he was in hiding.
And he would go quiet for periods of time where it was like he'd kill people and it was like that would satiate him for a while and he would stop. And they just had like they could not. I don't think the FBI could have caught him without him allowing himself to be caught.
Mm-mm.
That's my personal belief. A lot of people say, no, that's not true. But I mean, they had nothing.
They had nothing again. They had nothing. He was not a suspect at all.
Mm-mm.
Canal Jules, will you give us a minute at first page?
No, I don't think he killed John Bonet.
No.
All right. Okay, Stace, you're on.
You're on.
Should we go show it for?
Let's
Just
go.
having more to freaking chat. So I got introduction to Dennis. Dennis Rader, who took 10 innocent lives in the area of Wichita, Kansas, as the BTK killer for bind, torture, kill, seemingly had his twisted modus operandi figured out to a T. A family man, a government worker, and a church leader by day, Rader was smart enough to blend into his community and avoid detection for the string of victim stalking and killings that fulfilled his sexual desires. And while he relished the headlines that announced his grotesque acts and the taunting messages he relayed to the media, he also controlled his impulses enough to suddenly stop the killings and disappear before authorities could get too close to his trail. Yet it was his insatiable lust for attention that ultimately proved to be his Achilles heel. BTK re-emerged years later to remind police that he remained at large, but got two killers with his cat and mouse games, providing investigators with an opening to crack the once unsolvable case.
I don't know you can get a sexual desire out of stalking and killing somebody. I can't lie.
Oh, and
and he stopped.
He killed like little girls. This guy was.
I reckon he killed more than 10 though.
I think he killed more than they were able to tie to him. I think.
Yeah. So a bit of his early life. We'll do a bit of background.
Evening, Vinders.
Hi, Vinders. Dennis Rader was born on March 9th, 1945 in Kansas, and the firstborn of 4 boys. As a child, he appeared normal and known to blend in with the crowd. He attended Riverview Elementary School, where he was an average student with withdrawn tendencies. In school, many said that Rader was lacking a sense of humor. He graduated from Wichita High School in 1963. In 1965, he entered Kansas Wesleyan College in Salina. During that time, Rader started breaking and entering into homes, stealing and getting away with it. So that's where it all started, basically.
Salina. It's Salina, Kansas. Sorry.
Right,
It makes
no, that's
me-
fine. That's fine.
You got
Salina.
it.
Thank you. Yeah.
Is that
From-
high school still going, Renee?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From 1966 to 1970, he served in the U.S. Air Force. He was stationed in Okinawa for 6 months, and in 1968 was then stationed in Takawa Air Base near Tokyo. Rader had stated that in later years he was also stationed in Korea, Greece, and Turkey. So God knows he could do anything. It was in those years that he started having sexual relations with local prostitutes and stalking others in the community. In a journal, he wrote how he was able to successfully break into the base library, steal a book without getting caught. Although privately he was starting to become involved in criminal acts, to the public he was receiving awards for good conduct and ribbons in the national defence area.
And that's a bit weird, isn't it? Breaking into libraries to knit books.
I think he needed for the thrill to prove he could do it.
Well, I don't give me a thrill, but getting into some manky old library and nicking dusty books, Renee. I don't know about you. Now, robbing a bank and getting £1 million, it's a bit different.
This guy was wired up all right. You know what I
It
mean?
was-
Is that what he used
Yeah.
to look like?
Yeah.
Yes.
I haven't got
Normal.
looking there, though. I want it to be fair.
Yeah, I've still got dotted a few around. On May 22nd, 1971, Dennis Rader and Paula Dietz were married. They soon settled in Park City, not far from their hometown in North Wichita. They would eventually go on to have 2 children while Rader was working with Cessna, a small aircraft manufacturer. He started attending the Butler County Community College in El Dorado. In 1973, he earned an associate's degree in electronics. So he wasn't stupid. He was quite smart. That's probably why he got away with it for so long.
Exactly. I think a lot of when they do those studies, like the FBI looks into serial killers, normally you're looking at somebody with above average intelligence. That's how they're able to get away with a string of these crimes, you know?
By the end of the same year, he began studying at Wichita State University to earn his degree. He was a poor student and could not spell very well, leading others to believe that he had a learning disability because of his bad grammar. In late 1973, during the oil embargo crises, his job at Cessna was quickly plummeting, leaving him unhappy and unemployed. This caused his violent fantasies to grow more vivid, leaving him with the question, what would it be like to kill someone? So that's a little introduction of this madman. I think you said to say madman. So the next couple of slides are going to be of his victims. There's going to be no grotesque photos. I can assure you, I have kept it clean.
You can find some.
I've just seen 1 or 2, Renee.
Yeah, you
seen
can
1 or 2.
and they were pretty horrific.
Yeah, I'm like, nope. I thought I'll best not put that in there.
No,
So we
but
get to
they
the
are out
first
there.
victims when it loads over. It was the Otero family. So he killed 4 members of one family.
What's that, mum and dad then, Renee, there?
Mum and dad, daughter and son.
What's really pitiful is the older son. There was an older son who was in high school who stayed late for, I don't know, like maybe football practice or something.
Mm-hmm.
Lived, came home and found his entire family dead. I mean, you want to talk
Along
about
with his siblings.
I've seen interviews with this poor guy, and it's just really like he blames himself, and it's just really sad.
So on January 15th, 1974, Dennis Rader broke into the home of the Otero family between 7 and 7:30 a.m. Rader gathered a well-figured out plan and got together his hit kit, which consisted of guns, cord, knives, and multiple tools for breaking and entering. He cut the phone lines and broke into the house. He was expecting to see the wife, Julie Otero, 35, and her 2 kids, Josephine, 11, and Joseph Jr., 9. But to his surprise, the husband, Joseph Otero, 38, was also home. Quickly, he took out a gun and told the family that he's a wanted criminal. He told them that he needed food, money, and a car. He forced the family into the bedroom where he tied their hands and feet together. He strangled Miss Otero until she passed out, assuming she was dead. He then moved on to Mr. Otero and put a plastic bag over his head and tied it with a cord. He also did the same to Joseph Jr. I'm just about to apologise for what I'm about to say right now, guys. He then took the daughter Josephine to the basement and hung her by a pipe. In his
What an evil
confession,
bastard.
Rader stated that once he hung the girl, he fulfilled his sexual fantasies, leaving semen by the crime scene. Rader tidied up the house, took some souvenirs like Mr. Otera's watch and radio, then went home.
So matter of fact, that innit? And then he went home.
Yeah, he admitted that the little girl was what he was after.
Yeah.
All of that to get to that little girl.
Later that day, Charlie Otero, 15, was coming back home from school when he heard his brother Danny, 14, and sister Carmen, 13, yelling for him to come to the bedroom.
Oh, I didn't realize he had 2 other siblings. Sorry, guys.
There was 5 kids altogether. They thought their parents were playing a practical joke on them, but soon they found out the horrendous truth that their family had been brutally murdered. Rader sent a letter to the television station Kake admitting that he was the one responsible for the Otero deaths. He wrote that he wanted to be known as BTK, standing for Bind, Torture, Kill. From the beginning of 1974 until 2005, he would be torturing the small town of Wichita, Kansas. Later in October 1974, an editor of the Wichita Eagle newspaper received a phone call that guided him to a letter which was hidden in an engineering book at the Wichita Public Library. The police ended up finding on the letter, which had gruesome descriptions of the Otero murders. The letter had very bad grammar and stated, "I did it myself, with no one's help," he said. "The code words for me will be bind them, torture them, kill them, BTK."
So, 1 minute. How big's Wichita, Rennie? In Kansas?
Let me look up and see how many people live in Wichita. But while I'm looking this up, if you go onto Netflix, there's a series called Mindhunter, and it follows Dennis Rader. It that runs through the entire show. It talks about different serial killers. It's the story of how they set up that behavioral sciences unit in the FBI, and it's excellent. David Fincher.
It's really good.
It is fantastic. So you should watch it. And it talks about Dennis Rader. Like, it's kind of following as they're setting up this behavioral sciences unit, and they're interviewing Charlie Manson and the guy that worked with Dean Corll that actually killed Dean Corll, the Candyman. Like, they're interviewing all these serial killers, trying to figure out what makes these people tick. Why do they do the things they do? And it's actually following Dennis's Rader's story, is like kind of going on in the background with all this going on. It's called Mindhunters. Is it Hunters or hold on?
Yeah, it's on Netflix. I've watched it.
Okay, hold on. Let me get to Wichita.
How far is that from where you are, Wichita, Rennie?
It's pretty far.
Yeah. So is that North or South America?
It would be west, a little bit north and west of me. Well, probably just straight west.
Right.
It's a 5-hour flight from Knoxville. So Wichita, I mean, it's not tiny. Hold on. Let's see. Let's see what it says about Wichita here. In the 2020 census, the population of the city was 397,352. The Wichita metro area, if you take all of the suburbs into account, is 647,610. It's in south central Kansas along the Arkansas River. Here, let me show you a picture of Wichita.
Oh, it looks nice, doesn't it, there?
I like that. Yeah,
They have it's next door to Colorado. It's what you get. This Kansas is just east of Colorado, and so they have very cold winters. It tends to be pretty flat. Wyatt Earp was a police officer in Wichita for about a year before he went to Dodge City. They're known for Wichita. Was known for aircraft manufacturing companies. Like didn't she say he worked for Cessna?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there is a bunch. There's Beechcraft, Cessna, and Stearman Aircraft. So the city was known for a while as the aircraft production hub. It's called the air capital of the world. They also had Learjet, Airbus, Boeing, Spirit Aerosystems, and Textron Aviation that they have manufacturing facilities in Wichita.
Yes, that's what he was doing. He was working for the manufacturing sensor, and when it went under, he lost his job. That's when he started to kill.
Wichita
Lots of
State.
people lose their job, Stacey. It don't mean they go out and start killing people.
Yeah, but they do say though that the tendencies was there beforehand. Sometimes it'll take something dramatic in their life to switch it on, like Jeffrey
Hold
Dahmer.
on a minute. All those dramatic things going on in his life. He don't make us out to be bleeding serial killers.
No.
Okay, so
That's why they do the studies.
a couple more tidbits about Wichita. So it's considered part of the Midwest. It's 157 miles north of Oklahoma City, 181 miles southwest of Kansas City, and 439 miles southeast of Denver. So you've got several bigger cities that kind of surround Wichita. It's pretty flat. It has rough winters there. Hot summers, snowy, cold winters. Let's see. There's an Air Force base there called McConnell Air Force Base. Humid, hot summers and cold, dry winters located on the Great Plains. There's also tornadoes. It's part of Hurricane Alley, so
Right.
it gets all the highlights there.
Fair enough. Just wanted to know where it was.
Yeah. I was going to try and find you a map of where Kansas is in the U.S.
I'm not being funny, but to say he couldn't spell very well, he was still very clever, wasn't he? Breaking into fucking libraries and shit.
Yeah.
But do you know what bugs me there? Why would you want to break into a library? What gratification do you get from getting into a library, man?
I think it was just prove he could do it.
Probably.
Crazy.
It's like a test run type thing, if that makes sense.
Kansas on a map. So Kansas, how am I going to do this? So I'm not going to be able to do it big enough, and I'm going the wrong way. So, okay, there's Texas.
Yeah.
Above that is Oklahoma.
Right.
That is Kansas.
All right, okay.
Yeah, so right in the middle.
It's sandwiched in then.
It is. It's right in the middle of the country. Nebraska sits above it. Colorado sits on one side, Missouri on the other. So landlocked. Definitely Midwest. They have pretty good barbecue there. Kansas City's known for their barbecue. We're pretty close to Kansas City. Go get good barbecue.
Right, so we've got to talk about victim number 5 now.
Right.
So, Catherine. Come on.
Okay, so that happened in 1974 that he killed the first family.
And this is a few months afterwards.
Okay, so it's just a few months later then. All right.
I think January, he killed the Oteros.
I believe it was cold, so January sounds right.
Yeah, January 15th, he killed the Oteros.
There was snow on the
ground. A few months after. So obviously, so just a few months after the Otero murders, Catherine Bright was murdered on 4th of April 1974. Rader had seen her before entering her home and considered her as one of his projects. That day, he broke into her home from the porch door and hid in the bedroom. Around 2 p.m., she arrived home with her brother Kevin, 19, which Rader was not expecting. Rader came rushing out of the room with the gun pointing straight at them. He told them the same story that he was a wanted criminal and needed a car, food, and money because he was on his way to New York. He forced the two into the bedroom and ordered Kevin to tie his sister's hands and feet. He then took Kevin into another room and tried to tie him up as well, but was not successful. Kevin got into a fight with Rader, getting very close to taking the gun from him, but Rader was able to get a good hold of the gun and shoot Kevin in the head twice. After that, he went back to Catherine to finish his project. Catherine also put up a big fight against Rader as he tried to strangle her. He realised that strangling her was not going to work, so he started stabbing her in the abdomen multiple times. While that was happening, Kevin Bright was able to escape. He ran a few blocks to his car and drove off in search for help. Sadly, even after multiple emergency surgeries and blood transfusions, Catherine Bright died at the age of 21. Her brother Kevin was in critical condition but did survive. So that's a picture of Kevin. And
Why were they so obsessed with like killing families and stuff and like brothers and sisters?
So this, if I remember this one right, it was just unfortunate.
His
Kevin
brother was there.
visiting today. They didn't know each other.
It's
and
like
that-
when it was like when he was still in the Ontarios. He was only expecting the mother and the two youngest children there.
exactly. He didn't realize. I think they had a cold or something going on, or the flu in the family, and people were not feeling well that day. But he did not expect the husband to be home. He was expecting her and the two little kids, and figured, easy kill with those three, and then he'd have with the little girl that was who he wanted in the first place.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a twisted individual.
And I think Catherine, this young woman, like he just so happened to see her out in front of her house, like he was driving by one day.
Yeah, he was driving past.
And that is how he picked this girl out of everyone. Like it was just wrong place, wrong time.
Wrong
like,
time.
So awful, He
would watch them to get the routine down. He wasn't just, she'll do, and then go for the kill. He would watch them. If you're watching the Netflix series with his daughter, they actually found his what's at the beginning was the projects is what he called them. He called every one of these people that he's killed his projects. So he was a sick, twisted individual. We'll get into that a bit later on. So victim number 6. See, this is 1977. So he took a short break. 3-year break, I think it was.
Yeah.
So we double check that. I have. Yeah. So he took a 3-year break. As far as we know, he took a 3-year hiatus from killing. That's. I don't think that's right, but. So 1977, Rader decided to come out again as BTK after 3 years of silence. He decided it was time to kill again, and he spotted soon-to-be victim in a neighborhood that he was strolling through. That day, he was supposed to go after a woman named Cheryl, whom he had met at a bar, but she was not home. He decided to go down Hydraulic Street and came in contact with a 5-year-old boy named Steve Relford. Rader pulled out a picture of his own wife and son and asked if he knew where they were. The boy said no and went home. Later, Rader knocked on the door and Steve answered the door. He paused at the detective, which let him get inside the house with no problem. Including Steve, there were 3 children in the house. Rader turned off the TV, turned down the blinds. The mother, Shirley Vane, came out of one of the rooms startled. At gunpoint, he ordered the children to go into the bedroom and locked them inside. He told Vian that what he planned on having his way with her. Somehow, he was able to lead her to believe that it wasn't rape and calmed her down by giving her a glass of water and smoked a cigarette with her. While the children were screaming in the bedroom, Rader tied their mother up, strangled her to death by putting a cord around her neck. He left semen on her panties, which were found next to her body. In later years, during his confession, Rader stated that the telephone rang, causing him to leave early, which left the children in the bathroom still screaming for their mother. March 17th, Shirley Vane was murdered at the age of 24, leaving behind her 3 kids and husband, Richard Vane. So he's getting more bold now.
Terrible. It's just sad. I've also seen an interview with Steve. It is just really pitiful.
So next victim is Nancy Fox.
He did rape them. He raped the 11-year-old. Yeah, I thought he actually raped Shirley, but maybe not. He starts to get off more, I think, on.
And he does rape her. It does rape her.
Rape her. Just remember.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying not to. Sorry,
that's
YouTube.
my fault. I'm sorry.
Right, if it says the R word, I'll say sexual assault. I
Yeah.
should
Right.
have changed
Okay.
that. That's my bad. So, Nancy Fox, by December of 1977, Rader became obsessed with stalking 25-year-old Nancy Fox. On December the 8th, he cut the phone line and broke into a modest duplex from the back door. He waited in her home for her to get back from her job at a jewelry store. Since she lived alone, he had no trouble surprising her in the kitchen at gunpoint. He told her that he had a sexual issue, and that in order to get rid of that issue, he had to tie her up and sexually assault her. After being allowed to partly disrobe herself in the bathroom, he ordered her into the bedroom. He tied her up and undressed himself. He then started to strangle her. As he strangled her, he confessed to her who he really was and what he had done in the past. Her body was found later with semen on the nightgown that was next to her.
Yeah, that's proper grim.
I
Hang on a minute. Did he get married, this fucker? Did he have a wife of his own, Rennie?
He had a wife. He had 2 children.
Daughter and son.
Very sad. Yeah. Yeah.
Did she know what was going on?
No.
Not until it was caught.
No, and the children didn't either. And actually, his daughter, I think, is really a hero because she's done a lot of trying to work with like the FBI as they try to figure out like why serial killers, like what makes these people this way. She's allowed them to do a lot of genetic testing on her. She's done a lot of interviews. I think the son just can't do it, but the daughter has. And she's talked about like how she was raised, how did he behave, like it's been pretty fascinating, all the things that the daughter has allowed to be done. Yeah.
She's actually done, I think it's BTK by his daughter, I think it's called, where she has said that what she's done is, but if I don't think I put it in there, I think they actually used her DNA sample from a smear test or a blood test she had done against the semen, and that's how they verified it was actually Dennis that was the one that was doing these. So they had the physical evidence as well, as long as his confessions, if I'm not mistaken. I watched that.
So what did he do to her then? Masturbate all over her then, or assault her?
No, he did sexually assault her, but didn't.
Yeah.
Not clear if he did it inside and then cleaned himself up next to with the nightwear.
Oh, that's
he didn't use protection. He didn't use protection. That's how bold he was.
Well, remember, I mean, early 70s, like there was no DNA testing. That they get tested for blood type.
They actually saved DNA, which is smart.
A blood group that they could test for, but they could not. No, they couldn't tell out else from it, could they?
Exactly. They could tell. Blood types, and that's about it. But yeah, I highly recommend that show on Netflix. Very accurate.
I had doggies outside my door. Right, the following day, on his way to work for the AT&T alarm company, he called the police department and said, "Yes, you will find a homicide at 843 South Pershing, Nancy Fox. That is correct." He then left the receiver dangling. The police rushed to the house at the 843 South Pershing and found Nancy's body strangled to death. The police tried to replay the recording of his voice many times, but never found a match. Early 1978, Rader sent a sarcastic poem called Shirley Locks to the Wichita Eagle newspaper. After the poem was a serious letter, BTK was again taking responsibility for the past 7 homicides. It was written the same way as the letter that was found in 1974, including a factor X, which was apparently the reason for him to commit these horrible crimes. The next letter was found was mocking the murder of Nancy Fox, entitled "Or Death to Nancy," which was mimicking the song "Or Death." See, even though he's even when he wasn't doing anything, he was tormenting the media and the whole of Wichita by sending poems and stuff out.
Yeah, he really terrorized Wichita, and this went on for years.
I'm gonna get this printed off, to be honest. Let me change the page on here.
No, that's sick, man.
Scary.
So it took another.
And it talks about on that Mindhunter, you'll see that he's working for ADT. So ADT is like a home security company.
Yeah, we had that in England, though.
Yeah, so he was using his job with this company to get into people's homes. He was able to case places.
Because they trusted him. They thought, he's here to keep my home safe by starting the alarm system. So that's how he managed to get into these people's homes. If he didn't do a surprise attack like he's done with some. So we have another hiatus. So 1985. Here we go. By 1985, it had been many years since his last murder. He was involved in his church, and once his son became old enough, Rader became a Boy Scout leader. Rader had 2 kids, Brian and Kerry. In 1985, Rader was 40 years old and planning on killing again. His next victim was a 54-year-old Maureen Hedge. She was a widow and described as kind and gentle woman. Hedge and Rader lived on the same block for over 30 years in Park City. On April 27, 1985, Rader was in the middle of a Boy Scout meeting and he stated that he had a headache and needed to leave to get medicine. He left and walked to his car that was near a bowling alley. He went inside, bought a beer. He swished the beer in his mouth and spat it out, purposely spilling some on his clothing, giving onlookers the illusion that he had been drinking. He called a cab, pretending to be drunk, and told the driver to take him to Park City. Come on, there we go. Once he got to Hedge's home, he saw her car and assumed she was home. He cut the phone line like usual and quietly opened the back door to sneak in. He realised no one was home and waited in her bedroom until he saw a car pull into the driveway. Maureen, Hedge, and another man walked into the house. Rader waited in the bedroom closet until 1 a.m. so that the man was gone and Maureen had gone to sleep. Rader came out of hiding, turned on the bedroom light, and jumped on top of Maureen, choking her to death. Once she had died, he dragged her body outside into the trunk of her car. He drove to the church that he went to regularly, and because he was a trusted member, he had keys to the building. He put black plastic over the windows so no one could look inside. He then dragged her body to the basement of the church. He photographed the body in multiple different poses before putting her body back in the trunk of the car and taking off. He dumped the body in a ditch along a dirt road not far from their home in Park City. And that was the picture of Maureen. I think that was her late husband in that picture.
So Park City is just a little suburb of Wichita.
And I've stumbled across some of the crime evidence photos regarding her body. The photos that I found. The dude was twisted. There's something in this PDF they haven't put on that I mentioned Jess earlier that I think when I've done this we can come full screen and we can discuss it then. So the next victim is, a minute, I'm losing track of was Vicky. I need to just sort that font out. Wergel. By September of 1986, Vicky Wergel, 28 at the time, and a mother of 2, had caught Radar's eye. He would walk by her home during the day and listen to her play the piano. He thought this murder worked out carefully, calling it his PG project. By 10 a.m. on September 16, Radar dressed up as a telephone repairman and knocked on Wergel's door. She let him into her home thinking that he was going to fix the phone line. He cut the line and told her that he was going to tie her up. At gunpoint, he forced her into the bedroom and tried to tie her up, but she gave him a fight, causing cuts and scratches on Radar. He got a rope and stopped her fighting by choking her to death. After he took photos of the body in different positions, then left, stealing her car. Soon after, Bill Wergel, the husband, said that he saw his own car going the opposite direction of the house, but could not identify the driver. When he arrived home, he saw his 2-year-old son by himself in the living room. He searched the house for his wife and soon found her on the floor behind the bed in the bedroom. Vicky was rushed to the hospital but was pronounced dead after a few hours. As this was happening, Radar was disposing of evidence and parked Wergel's car just a few blocks away from the home. He went to his own home, changed his clothes, and once again got away with murder. See, he's getting more bold now. I think this is the last one.
Did he not do Alternate Sun in that one then?
No.
Mm-mm.
Oh,
No.
God.
I'm just going to let you discuss a minute because I can hear the dog outside the door.
That's crazy, Renee.
I suspect, like Drula's saying, like that gap is too long. Like I feel the same way. I think there had to have been.
There's more than that. No, well, you can't just go 11 years and not do all.
I don't think so. I just don't. He claims that he did, but I just suspect there were others. It just seems like a long time if you're not wired up right.
11 years not to do all, or not anything. I don't believe it. No way.
I know.
I reckon he's done a hell of a lot more than he fucking thingied for, I tell you. Can't lie.
Yeah. There is reasons to believe, even as early as, if I'm not mistaken, 2023, they still believe he did more than these 10 that he was convicted of. They just cannot. I think I explained that. So I think the next one, this is his last official victim. So we're on to Dorado Davis. In 1991, Rader found older women to be more vulnerable from past experiences with younger women. Rader found an older woman who was 62 and lived on her own, Dolores Davies. Davies lived a mile and a half away from Rader, where he noticed her at her home. He had a very thought out plan to get what he would be his last victim. He was going camping with the Boy Scouts over the weekend. On January 19, 1991, he came up with an excuse to slip away from one of the Scout meetings. He drove his car to his parents' house to change out of his Scout uniform and into his HIT clothes. He then drove to the Baptist church in Park City to park his car and finish his plan out on foot. Once he got to the Davis house, he waited outside until he saw that she was asleep. He broke the glass door at the back of the house with a cement block that he found. Dolores came out of her bedroom and found Rader. He used the same line as he had almost every time, saying that he needed money, a car, and food, and that he was going to tie her up. He tied her up in the bedroom and strangled her to death.
Why did he always say that? Though he wanted a car, food, and money.
To keep people calm, to keep these women calm by thinking that they were going to live through it.
Yeah,
right.
He needed them to be compliant. He did not like it. What Stacey said on that last slide, she talked about how he started looking for older women because younger women were fighting him. And I think that actually really scared him. I think he was a pansy. And he didn't want women fighting him. So he thought if he could keep them calm, you know, hey, I'm going to tie you up, but it's okay. You know, you give me the things I want, I will leave. It's just to make a more compliant victim.
Oh, dear.
I know.
Sorry. Right. Rader took the body outside and put her in the trunk of her own car. He drove to a lake near Park City and hid the body and evidence under some trees. He drove the car back to the Davis house, wiped it down for fingerprints, and then left to go back to the church. He went back to where he hid the body, put it in his trunk, and dumped the body under a bridge in Sedgwick County. Rader then went somewhere to change back into his Scout uniform and returned back to the camp. The following evening, he went back to where he left the body and took photographs of it.
Ooh.
So that was his last victim. I'm going to say officially his last victim, because I do believe there's more.
And the whole thing about this guy, it's really scary. He was, I think he was a Lutheran, but he was like an elder or a leader in that Lutheran church. He had keys to the building. He was constantly in that church. He was constantly around people's children. You know, here he is with the Boy Scouts. He did some stuff, I think, with his daughter as well. So he's around all these little kids. He's around, you know, all these other people in the church, and no one thinks anything. Like this guy, it's scary. You just never know who you're dealing with, you know?
Like pillar of the community and all that.
Yes.
Exactly.
That's what I mean. He made himself the pillar of the community, so no one suspected a thing. Literally wolf in sheep's clothing, as the saying goes. So right, we're getting to the part where we're catching him now. From 1991 to 2004, BTK stayed hiding. No one heard from him for over 10 years. But on the 30th anniversary of the Ontario murder, The Wichita Eagle newspaper ran an article about the crime and BTK. A book by Robert Beatty came out about the nightmare that haunted Wichita in Wichita, Kansas, aka BTK. This book and article angered Rader because he thought they were trying to sell his own story. On March 17, 2004, Rader mailed a letter to Wichita Eagle from an undercover name, Bill Thomas Kilman. BTK. So he still got BTK input and used an undercover name, but still had the BTK. Still smart. The Evan Love had 3 photocopy pictures of the ones he took of Vicky Weigel and her driving license, then signed it with the same signature that he'd used in previous letters. The letters were sent to the FBI, and the investigation on BTK started again. Hitting the media and the internet, Rader sent another letter on May the 5th, 2004 to KK TV. It was a word puzzle that contained a deeper meaning with letters and numbers. Next, on June 9, 2004, he left a package taped to a sign in the middle of the city, which had a gruesome description of the Ontario murders and a sketch of a dead body hanging by a rope.
I remember when he was mailing these things into the Wichita Eagle and KAKE TV, because it was national news for days and days.
Yeah.
It was on the
And
nightly
UK as well.
news. Very scary, because you knew that there was an active serial killer that they could not catch. I mean, it
Yeah.
terrified the whole country.
His ego got the better of him.
And they
Part of the
released some of the photos. Yeah, they
Yeah.
released some of the photos that, like on the national news. Very, very scary.
He titled the sketch, "The Sexual Thrill Is My Bill." On June 17, 2004, there was another package labeled BTK that was found at the Wichita Public Library. In this letter, Rader explained that time was running out for him and he wanted to wait for the right time for his next hit. The 5th item dropped by Rader was on October 22nd, 2004, when it was found by a UPS driver. There was a collage of children with bindings drawn across their bodies and faces inside a manila envelope. It also contained an autobiography that listed false details about BTK. For example, the year he was born and the area that he lived in, to mislead the police officers. Just 8 days after Rader became president of the church council at the Christ Lutheran Church, as Renee had mentioned already, there was a special care box markings, BTK, and bomb in the back of a pickup truck. Inside the box was information of his projects that he watched and stalked along with even more misleading information. Also inside the box was a question asking if there was a floppy disk made, if it would be able to be traced back to the computer that he was used to make it. Later, the police replied and said no, which was a lie. So with regards to the floppy disk, he requested they put an article in ad in a newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
I think, was it Rex? I think they used.
I can't remember, but I do remember that he was saying that he straight asked the inbox he was in the FBI, can you track a computer by the floppy disk? And they were like, no, of course not, but you can.
They were lying, obviously.
Yeah, when you find out where he was writing this shit from, it's just enough to make your head spin.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it next one, actually. Oh no, I'm going to ignore that one. For some reason, that's a copy. There we go. The next clue found was another cereal box discovered on January 25th, 2005, after he sent directions to KAKE TV, thank you, Renee, on where to find the box. Inside the box was a doll with a rope around its neck and tied to a pipe, simulating the murder of Josephine Ontario.
That's the 11-year-old girl.
Yeah, that's 11-year-old girl, one of the first ones he killed. The 10th drop was a postcard. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I really think that seems to be the murder that he always went back to. I think that was just like his dream victim was that little girl. It's just, Jesus.
The 10th drop was a postcard that arrived on February 3rd, 2005. That was sent to KAKE saying that he was going to send a floppy disk. So when the 11th was found 13 days later, at the studio of KCAS-TV. Police analysed floppy disk, which was drawn back to the Christ Lutheran Church under the name Dennis. They looked at the church and found the name of the president, Dennis Rader. They drove past his home one day in an undercover vehicle and saw a familiar car from the past security cameras. It was Radar's black Jeep Cherokee. The police asked his daughter, Kerry, for a DNA sample, saying it was from a medical record. But in reality, the police were using it to match the semen found in the past crime scenes left by BTK. The Wichita Police Department found a match and finally solved the case after 30 years. So I thought it was her DNA was already on file. So clearly not.
No, I remember them having to get a sample from the daughter, from Carrie. I remember that part.
Well, I think both the kids changed their surnames now. I think.
How old was daughter though when he got arrested in 2000 and whatever? Then Rennie.
She was mid-20s, if I'm not mistaken.
I feel like she was close to my age. I think she and I are pretty close in age.
Yeah.
His wife's still alive now, then.
Yeah, but they're obviously first.
So on February 25th, 2005, the WPD surrounded Radar's car after he ate lunch at work and led him to a waiting police car where he was handcuffed.
So
the next slide is.
Think about this, guys. So this guy is so sick that he's going into that church building because he's got keys and he's typing up all this shit on the church computer.
Mm-hmm.
It just blows the mind, really. So yeah, I remember.
Yeah. So I thought this might be a good thing to include, but not put it in with the rest of the slides. So the items that Dennis sent to KTV, the letter with his nickname signed at the end, which is the second photo, to the police, and one of the cereal boxes he left attached to a post with content shown. His plate on serial killer, which is the special care box. Also, the floppy disk that he sent that finally led to his arrest, mentioned in the previous slide. So these photos are actually physical. The photos that have been what were produced in court. So obviously, what chuckled with the most is he was so fixated on that BTK thing that even his anonymous name was, well, the name that he used was Bill Thomas Kilman. He just could not get, because like I was saying, most papers in UK and America, they name their serial killers. He named himself. That's how egotist for me. That was egotistical for me. How much of an ego he had. I want to be called this. And most likely mess around with my freaking So now we're going to get onto the court case. I think it's, and then we're almost done, guys. I do apologise. Kind of deep diving on this one.
Well, I keep stopping.
Yeah. The same day Rader was arrested, he was taken to an interrogation room where at first he did not talk, but soon opened up and gave every little detail possible. By the end, Rader had given a 30-hour confession. In his confession, he talked highly about his crimes, and it was evident that he was proud of what he had done and that he liked the publicity that he had been given. The next day, Rader took his first mugshot and realised that the police were not on his side. On March 1st, the public was finally able to see a live video of BTK receiving the charges against him before he was found guilty. The court had a lot of evidence against Rader after they searched his home. They found his motherlode, which contained the original BTK letters, victim's driving license, photos that was taken, cutouts from newspaper articles, and artwork that was found in a cabinet in his home office. Ugh. Radar's family and friends were devastated when they heard that Dennis was BTK. Many who knew him said they wouldn't have thought or suspected him to be capable of committing those actions that he was being accused of. His wife, Paula Dietz, did an emergency divorce not long after his arrest.
You have to feel sorry for his wife and kids because they truly have no idea.
And that's him in court, on one of the court appearances anyway.
I was shocked when, like, this is the guy. This is the guy. I just, like, my brother and I were like, what the fuck?
So Dennis Rader's court case started on July 27th, 2005. For all 10 victims, Rader confessed with much detail and no remorse, pleading guilty. I think that's why he didn't get the death sentence, because he pleaded guilty. He didn't plead
That's
not guilty.
bullshit. She got a death sentence
I
renounced
agree.
anyway. Like.
No, I agree with you, but
She got
yeah.
out of that one.
Yeah.
Do you know where he was sentenced already with a death penalty in play in that country?
It goes by state. Let me see.
Yeah,
I'm
that's what I mean, yeah.
I'm just gonna check for a minute, yeah.
I'm pretty sure Kansas has the death
I'll
penalty.
continue while you're finding that out. Family members from each victim were able to speak, telling Rader the hatred they have for him and how they will never be able to see their loved ones again. After that, Rader was able to give a statement where he talked for 20 to 30 minutes on what was supposed to be an apology, but he merely talked about himself. Egotistical. It was very obvious to the court and the millions of viewers that he was not truly sorry for his actions and that he liked the attention he was getting. 1 minute, Ellen.
So Kansas has the death penalty. They've taken it away and then reintroduced it 3 separate times. It's been reinstated since 94, but it hasn't been carried out since 1965. Kansas right now has 9 inmates sitting on death row, but nobody has been executed since the law was reinstated due to a lengthy and complex appeals process. There are legal challenges to the death penalty going through the Kansas Supreme Court now. It has been upheld as legal under the state constitution. So honestly, this guy he's 80 years old now. Like, even if he'd have gotten the death penalty, he would likely still be sitting on death row. You know what I mean? He'd probably die on death row regardless.
So on August 18th, 2005, Judge Waller, which is the gentleman in the video below, photograph below, sentenced Dennis Rader to life in prison. Rader will not be eligible for parole until 2180. He was also not allowed access to the materials that would fulfill his fantasies. On 19th of August 2005, Rader was taken to his new home in El Dorado Correctional Facility in El Dorado, Can, which I believe is still there.
It is. Let me look this up. It's in the middle of nowhere. It's a maximum security prison. Out in the middle of Kansas.
Despite his age. So there is rumors that Dennis Rader killed more than the victims named in this presentation, but none have been linked physically back to him. Police went through numerous cases that had similar modus operandi to see if there were any other possible victims. So Rader was convicted of 10 life sentences to be served consecutively. He must serve at least 175 years before he will be considered for parole. So there's a series on Netflix which is based around his daughter and how she lived with his killings and the aftermath. You can watch the confessions in court and some of his interviews with police on YouTube. And I'll just skip to this part, next part. This is the end.
Here's Dennis's new home. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this.
Yeah.
This is the Dorado Correctional Facility out in the nowhere of BFE, Kansas. Yeah. Looks very unpleasant. Hope he's enjoying it.
See this picture here? That's still. You can actually see his 20 to 30 minute confession on YouTube in court. He gives very detailed description, and you can see there's no remorse or anything. He's just stonewall, and it's like he's proud.
Yeah, well, he's smirking in that picture, and he would smirk a lot. I remember when he was in court and on trial, they would show clips of him, and you can see he's smirking. He was enjoying it because he was becoming famous. And I think all these serial killers, they want to be famous, you know? So you have to be caught famous. So
I get rid of some of this stuff. So there is some things I didn't mention in the presentation, and I thought I'd discuss with the ladies. And now probably Renee has probably seen the photos that I'm going to be referring to. There was when they raided his home and found his trophies and all his memorabilia, they actually found Polaroids of Rader dressed up, reenacting some of the victims' poses.
They released those to the public, or some of them.
I've got some from a computer that I found.
Yeah,
I've got it down too, because it's not.
It
showed how twisted
in the public. Yeah, when they were looking for him, they were like, "This is the guy we're looking for," and it was these horrible photos of like Polaroids he'd taken of himself.
Yeah, because he had Polaroids of the victims. Hang on a minute, it's not like me. The computer don't want to play ball now. Here we go. We'll go over the side. he clearly he got a thrill, specifically if he was reenacting some of the Polaroids that I've seen.
Oh, that's grim.
So here's one. Here's one of the photos they've released.
Look at it putting right.
Bad, scary stuff.
I'm not going to be showing any grotesque ones, guys. I'm just making you aware. So this is one of the photos that he actually had. So obviously the mask and some of his stuff that he actually had in his possession. I'm going to remove just in case something pops up that's not pleasant.
They released that on like the national nightly news on like all the channels.
Yeah.
It was crazy, scary.
It was. I've seen a few images where obviously some of it's blurred out, and I'm like, oh no. Here's another one. These are just what they found when they were going through evidence. Oh, stop sharing screen. Because he clearly had issues. I think they actually, and there's another one there. Look,
I remember that one.
Oh Lord!
There's one where I don't know if I've just saw. There's one where he's actually gone physically into the woods and reenacted another hanging.
I remember this photo. This one's famous from court. This was the mask, and I remember them holding it up, and I just thought, "Oh my God, this is the scariest thing! Holy crap!"
I just see that picture now. And obviously we've seen the BTK. And then from what I've read, a few years after the fact, because they actually demolished his home, and there was a pathway still there. When they lifted the pathway up, they found more evidence. I think it's where the shed was, if I'm not mistaken. So the concrete slabs are still down from where the shed was. And when they removed the slabs from the shed base, there was more evidence underneath them.
What, like more trophies and that?
Yeah. There's another one. Like I said, I'm not going to show anything grotesque because it's not something. So here's another one. This is when I was talking about him being in the woods and reenacting it. So that's another image they found.
Yeah, they showed that on national TV too, and we were like, "Oh my God!"
He did that to himself.
Yes,
himself. He was
autoerotic asphyxiation, where people start strangling themselves to get off. Like he was in that.
He was doing that, and he was reenacting some of his murders. So I believe that image there is him reenacting the 11-year-old girl.
Now this is Carrie. This is his daughter. And I think Carrie's a hero because Carrie never did anything wrong. She didn't ask to be born to that man. But she's done a lot for victims. She has personally apologized to the families of the victims. Like, she doesn't owe anyone an apology. She's done nothing wrong.
No, she doesn't.
But I think Carrie's a hero.
And thanks to her, they do believe he's done more.
There's no way he took her 11-year break off. I'm not listening to it.
No.
And no one believes that. I know that the Wichita police don't believe it. The FBI
don't believe it. We just cannot find anything to pin on him.
I think that he likely thinks this is funny. Like it's his last game and it's his last kind of power grab, you know? Yeah, I mean, this is sad. Like, here's Carrie on her wedding day before everybody knew, you know? It's
looking at him, he doesn't even look out like that, does he?
No, I think that's how he got away with it for so long.
It's like a church go, what I mean? You know, that's when it goes to church and shit like that.
So I've just found an article from
There's no way he took an 11-year break. I'm not having none of it. No ways.
No.
It's all personal writings from Dennis Rader, the self-proclaimed BTK serial killer, have led local Oklahoma law enforcement to believe he is the prime suspect in the missing persons case in 1976. They found drawings of young children, or look like young children anyway, as in pencil drawings by him.
But he never did out to his own kids then, or wife. Were he ever aggressive to them?
No. Both of those kids have come forward. You know, the son doesn't speak publicly, but he has spoken to the FBI, like the behavioral sciences unit, like at length. Both kids have. And
Mhm.
both of those kids have said, like, when they were children, he was fine. And there was nothing, he was a good dad. He was emotionally responsive. Like, he acted normal. They had no kind of clue what they were living with. So you can imagine how
No,
much that messed them up. And his
there were
wife,
no red flags.
they
Was no
had,
red
Loving
flags at
husband,
all.
yeah?
Hmm?
Loving husband to wife then, yeah? No issues with
Yeah.
wife at all?
Nope.
no, not that she ever
He
said.
was,
I mean,
from the outside looking in, he was a model partner, model father. No red flags whatsoever. He was a pillar of the community, helped whenever he could. So when it came out that he was BTK, when people said, oh, they were shocked, literally, they had no clue whatsoever that he was BTK. He did not give no warning signs, no red flags, no nothing. So, as I mentioned just not long ago about the 2 drawings, this is pretty recent, about the last year or 2, so this is from 2023. Going on the fact that we said about he's clearly killed more, because there's no way he's took hiatus for so long and not done anything. Oh,
What did he do in them 11 years then that he won't? So what did he go do then? Were he working then or what? There's no way, Rennie. He's took a 11-year
working.
break.
raising kids, being a father and a husband, and just a working guy for ADT, the alarm
Yep.
company system. But
Doing the Boy Scout.
nobody thinks that he was able to go 11 years without doing anything else. It's just a problem. It's like Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
Bundy was sitting on death row down in Florida. He had been caught for several of the murders that he had done, but he was like dragging it out, and they know, like, they finally just put him to death because he was getting stays of execution to like give families closure. Like, there were so many more murders that he had done, but the FBI and all couldn't link him. There are women that are missing that like meet the profile, but they couldn't find bodies. So they knew that there were more women that he had killed, but he was like lording it over them. And they would get close to an execution date and he'd be like, no. If you give me a stay, I'll tell you about these 3 other murders I've done. Right.
Yeah.
And he did this 3 or 4 times.
It.
Finally, in the state of Florida was like, you know what? No more. And it's sad for families, but he was like playing the system. And I have a feeling Rader has killed more people than he admits to. But I think for him, it's like his last power play. You know what I mean? Like, he's just holding on to that. There's other dead women that he hasn't told people about. I know, like, Kansas police, Wichita police suspect that he's done others, but they can't tie him to them.
He did the killings during work hours, or when he went to the scouts. He literally, I think his home office, where they found the photographs and stuff in his home office, was a lock and key.
I think there's a part of Mindhunter, and I suspect that it's correct because David Fincher, the guy that made that series on Netflix, like, he's really into getting things right. He does a lot of research.
Yeah.
And there is a part of Mindhunter where the wife comes home and walks in on him, kind of, he's dressed up in women's lingerie and he's strangling himself for the thrill of it. And his wife catches that and she runs out of the house. And I don't know if that ever actually did happen, but I kind of suspect that it did. So she may have thought there was something not quite right, but I don't know. She didn't suspect that he was BTK.
No one did. So I'm just going to show, just when they were still talking. So this is from 2023. These are 2 drawings from Rader himself. The police believe that these are 2 of his victims, and they wanted people to, if they could get anything from these drawings of his.
These are what he's actually drawn himself in prison then?
That's what he's drawn himself.
I believe that little girl on the right is the Otero girl.
Couldn't that be John Bonetti though? She had blonde hair, didn't she?
Yeah, but I don't think it was him. I really don't, for a John Bonetti.
No.
But what makes him, after all that time, Rennie, at 30-year anniversary, then start playing games with busies to get caught? Like, did he want to get caught then, or what?
Well, you can't be famous if you're not caught, right?
True.
I mean, I think that's part of the problem is he got upset. So what had happened was that local paper in Wichita on the 30th anniversary of that first killing, those Otero killings, had done a cold case story. Had done a cold case story on this crime, you know, the family that was killed, and they were interviewing that oldest son, and I think they got some facts wrong. And put that story, and it pissed him off because it was like he wasn't getting full credit and he couldn't stand it. And that's when he started blasting off those letters to the KAKE TV and to the paper. He was mad because they weren't getting his story right.
So that's why you were pissed, because they weren't.
Yes, because they weren't telling the true story. He wasn't getting full credit, and I think he just couldn't stand it. He could not stand it.
Yeah, Joseph got a point there, what she says, right? So how come Ted Bundy got the death sentence then, but he didn't?
So the difference is the different states, like Florida and Texas, Texas, Alabama, like there are certain states that if you are put on trial and you get the death penalty, you're going to be put to death. Texas will do it. Florida will do it. I know Alabama will do it. Some states really don't like doing the death penalty. They're uncomfortable with it. I have a feeling Kansas is one of those states. California is one of those states. People always assume that you can't get the death penalty in California. That's not true. Charlie Manson got the death penalty in California. But it takes such a long time to get through the system. Also, Scott Peterson, the one that murdered his pregnant wife, Lacey, I think he got the death penalty. But it takes such a long time in California to get through the system. They don't like giving people the death penalty. So you're probably going to die in prison while you're waiting. Because it's not Texas, it's not Florida, it's not Alabama, where if you get the death penalty, they're going to kill you. Like, each state is kind of, each state has its own thing going on. Like, also, if it's a federal crime, like the Oklahoma City bombing, because that was a federal building, that was a federal crime, they will put people to death in the federal system. That's why the guy that blew up the Oklahoma City, I can't think of his name. That's why he was killed. Federal government's different than the individual states. So honestly, it's like a total patchwork of laws in this country. And it honestly just depends on where you've done the crime.
Yeah. Them pictures, those sketches were found under two slabs. They went back. There was only the slabs left of his home. And they went back and searched them under them two slabs. That's where they found them drawings. Because the only thing that left with the two slabs, and they didn't think of looking under the slabs, so they went back and looked under the slabs because that's the only thing that was left of the building, and that's where they found more. So that kind of supports the theory that there was no way in hell he went all the time. He went without not killing. Nah, he's definitely done things in between, and I think them sketches prove he did things in between. They just aren't being connected to.
Not sure what you mean by that, Saneem. So it would come down to, it would be at the state level, or if it's a federal crime, it would be at the federal level. I'm not sure what you mean by county system. So there are counties, unless you're in like Louisiana, and then there are parishes, but I don't know that that's really messed up.
Crazy. I just don't believe he went all that time without killing someone else, Rennie.
Yeah. No one does. Can't.
I mean, you're telling me he sat on his hands for 11 years and didn't do now? Didn't get any cravings to do all, Rennie? Come on.
Yeah, no. I know behavioral sciences doesn't believe that. And he still claims it. He's like, no. You know, I knew that they were really looking for me, and things just had to calm down, and I had to stop. Like, I just don't think somebody that's wired up wrong can stop. I don't think they can.
They could live 2 different lives, let's be honest, Renee, because fucking hell, he lived with a wife and 2 kids until he got what? A thingy, you know what I mean? So he could flip this coin and live that life, and then flip that coin and live that sort of life.
The thing about that, Jules, about the moving about, is his job wouldn't have required him. So the FBI has come out, like behavioral sciences unit, and they have said that at any point in time in America, they think there's between 5 and 15 serial killers actively working in the country. A lot of these people will take jobs that keep them on the road. A lot of them are like over the road truckers. They think that's the perfect job because you've got a reason to be like driving around, going from place to place. Easy to kind of find people. His job, Rader, is working for that ADT security system. It's not like a traveling job. It wasn't like a traveling salesman or an over-the-road trucker. It wasn't a job where he could have just disappeared for weeks at a time. Like his family would have noticed that.
Mm-hmm. But literally no red flags. So apparently he was diagnosed as narcissistic, shocker, obsessive compulsive and antisocial personality disorder. So this Mendoza observed that Rader has a grandiose sense of self, a belief that he is special and therefore entitled to special treatment, a pathological need for attention and admiration, a preoccupation with maintaining rigid order and structure, and a complete lack of empathy. So yeah.
No, I don't think so. Saneem, you can put a camera on a tripod and set a timer on it.
Self-timer.
That must be hard to do though, that Renee, like self-take them pictures though, because I find it hard to take a selfie of my fucking self, never mind swinging from a tree in a fucking dress.
Well, but remember, you can put a camera on a tripod and set it to just take pictures.
Well, you see, I'm not educated enough to do all like that.
Yeah.
Well, but remember, those older cameras, you could run them like that. So
yeah, you could. Yeah. Right.
Multiple shots might have been taken, and he's kept the ones that got the desired effect, rather than keeping the whole lot. Because if a family friend or friend had taken it, it would have raised red flags, and he kept it all to himself because he loved it that he was getting the attention, but still managing to get away with it.
Scary.
Yeah, but if he went through all that trouble to get away with it, what then wanted him to get caught right? I don't get it. No, you want to be noticed.
He didn't want to get caught. His ego got the better of him.
You can't be famous if you don't get caught.
But why wait all that time to then get caught?
I don't know. I really think, I don't know that he set out to get himself caught, but I really do think he just couldn't stand it when when that local newspaper and the TV station were doing the 30th anniversary stories and started getting stuff wrong. I think that just really torqued him. Like, you're telling my story, you're effing it up. Like, I think that's what set him off.
I can't believe he's still alive at 80.
I didn't realize he was 80. I was surprised when I saw that.
He's grim, you know.
Really scary.
But you want to watch his court where he sat there, he stood there, just relaying it. He is creepy. See if I can find it, Jeff.
He doesn't even show any emotion, does he?
No.
Is that in a job interview?
Smirking.
Yeah, smirking.
Did that smirking thing in court, which really, you can imagine, like the families of the victims, that absolutely torqued them, sitting there and watching him being really smug and smirk like that. Really painful.
Let me find it. Right, I've worked out I can share audio now. So I'm gonna bring up the court pit. I won't play the whole lot. Let me large screen it. So this is him doing the confessions in court.
I need to find out more information. On that particular day, the 15th day of January, 1974, can you tell me where you went to kill
Mr.
Joseph Otero?
I think it's 1834. Edgemore.
All right. Can you tell me approximately what time of day you went there?
Somewhere between 7 and 7:30.
This particular location, did you know these people?
No, that's no, that was part of my, I guess my what you call fantasy. These people were selected.
All right, so you
That's his lawyer.
Okay.
you were engaged in some kind of
And I
fantasy
like
during this period
it.
of time?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, when you use the term fantasy, is this something you were doing for your personal pleasure?
Sexual fantasy, sir.
I see. So you went to this residence, and what occurred then?
Well, I had did some thinking on what I was going to do to either Mrs. Otero or Josephine, and basically broke into the house, or didn't break into the house, but when they came out of the house, I came in and confronted the family, and then we went from there.
He's got audible
Had
eyes.
you planned this beforehand?
To some degree, yes. After I got in the house, I lost control of it, but it was, you know, in the back of my mind, I had some ideas what I was going to do, but I basically panicked that first day. So
Beforehand, did you know who was there in the house?
I thought Mrs. Otero and the two kids, the two younger kids, were in the house. I didn't realize Mr. Otero was going to be there.
All right. How did you get into the house, Mr. Rader?
I came to the back door, cut the phone lines, waited at the back door, had reservations about even going or just walking away, but pretty soon the door opened and I was in.
All right. So the door opened. Was it open for you, or did something?
I think one of the kids, I think the junior, or not junior, yes, the young girl, Joseph, opened the door. He probably let the dog out because the dog was in the house at that time.
All right. When you went into the house, what happened then?
Well, I confronted the family, pulled a pistol, confronted Mr. Otero, and asked him to, you know, that I was there to, basically, I was wanted to get the car. I was hungry, food, I was wanted, and asked him to lie down in the living
Too
room.
matter of fact for me,
And,
this.
at
No
that time, I
emotional.
realized that wouldn't be a really good idea, so I finally
Literally, he obviously he relished
Sorry,
on so much.
You can see he's just very cold. He's just telling you facts. This is not keeping him up late at
It's
night.
like
He's
telling the
definitely-
story. It's like saying, "Oh, been out to shop today."
Yeah.
It's just like an everyday event. It's like it's normal.
He
Yeah.
recalled everything. That's why he got, because he knew there was no way he could plead not guilty. Factly, there was no way he could plead not guilty. So obviously
He's
in
an
the
evil
court,
bastard.
and there's families as well of all the victims. Obviously, the family of the victims was in that court, and they had to hear all this as well. And he could tell he's taking
He'll
great
have been
pleasure.
enjoying that, you know,
Oh yeah, he was.
reliving that on there.
Forward a bit.
stalking and scrolling. You go through the trolling stage and then a stalking stage. She was in the stalking stage when this happened.
All right, sir. So you identified Catherine Bright as a potential victim.
Yes, sir.
What did you do here in Sedgwick County then?
Pardon?
What did you do then here in Sedgwick County?
On this particular day,
Yes.
I broke into the house and waited for her to come home.
How did you break into the house?
Through the back door on the east side.
All right, and you waited for her to come home. Where
Yes,
did
sir.
you wait?
In the house there, probably close to the bedroom. I walked through the house and kind of figured out where I'd be if they came through.
All right. What happened then?
She and Kevin Bright came in. I wasn't expecting him to be there. And come find out, I guess they were related. That time I approached him and told him I was wanted in California, needed some car. Basically the same thing that I told the Oteros. Kind of ease them, make them feel better, and proceeded to, I think I had him tie her up first, and then I tied him up, or vice versa. I don't remember right now. At that
Now,
time.
let me ask, you indicated you had some items to tie these people with. Did you bring these items, both the Oteros, into this location?
The Oteros I did. I'm not really sure on Bright's.
I was smacked him.
There was some when I am working with the police, there was some controversy on that. Probably more likely I did, but if I had brought my stuff and used my stuff, Kevin would probably be dead today. I'm not bragging on that. It's just a matter of fact. It's the bonds I've tied him up with that he broke them. So,
I'm not, remembering
and
this
maybe
back
same way
now.
with same.
I believe they took the death penalty off the table if he would cooperate and give them full details. Like if he would just be forthcoming, they would take the death penalty off the table. I think that's what happened and why he's speaking so candidly, because he knew he wasn't going to get the death penalty. I remembering that now, I do think that was part of it. If you cooperate, you can have life.
Yeah, I've seen this full video, Drew, and he goes into detail, and it's the same tone all the way through. The random smirk every now and then. He just did not give a flying fuck. For him, Rogers, it was the actual killing that was the thrill for him. So he'll remember the thrill, the sexual thrill he would have got from the killings is what he remembers the most, rather than the before and after. Maybe he'll remember that. He might remember the more of the after, but beforehand, probably not. He will definitely remember the details of all the murders, though, because he got sexual gratification out of them all.
You've been going back and reliving them. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Taking the pictures, dressing up. I mean, it is really gross.
It's weird, mate. Look,
scary.
in my opinion, he should have had death penalty. Facts. Yeah. I know what you're saying, Renee, but if I had my way, I'd have got a gun to the back of head. I can't lie.
I believe, but I do believe that is why they took the death penalty off. I get it. If you will fully cooperate, if you will admit, and answer candidly, that was the judge talking to him that you couldn't see.
Judge Weller, yeah.
Exactly. So I think that was the bargain and they'll do that fairly frequently with people. They'll say, we'll take the death penalty off the table if you cooperate.
And he remembered every detail. That's why when it comes to when you look on the documentaries and stuff, why there's so much detail, because he can kind of give the details. Like, that's how we knew that he initially wasn't realizing that the husband wasn't going to be home. The Otero, the dad, didn't realize he was going to be home. So obviously, the only meticulous planning he'd done when he saw the dad, that went out the window. But yeah,
it's crazy.
No remorse whatsoever.
It's grim.
It is the whole case. His whole confession is The judge. I think I've top of my head.
It's too soft, them defences and all that for me. He's too mad of fact. Just stood there telling a story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No emotion, no nothing.
Yeah. I mean, these people are just not wired up right. No. Something is clearly wrong.
Did he have a bad childhood growing up? No.
I can't remember if he had like a head injury. They found a lot of them have had head injuries as kids, like bad head injuries, like fractured skulls and stuff. I don't know if he also had something like that. I don't remember.
Do you know what I said it a couple of weeks ago? Like, I know our serial killers are bad in UK, right? But like in America, it's a whole new level. I can't even lie.
Mm.
It is. It's like a whole new level of crime out there.
It is.
Everything's bigger in America, I guess.
I agree, Rodders. I totally agree. So and if you're telling me he never did more than that and he took 11 years off, I don't believe it.
So apparently, Dennis has turned and said he never experienced physical or sexual abuse as a child, and his early life appeared outwardly normal and remarkable to those around him.
It was just a choice.
So for him, it was a choice rather than anything psychological that happened when he was younger to flip that switch.
Scared.
Very. Scary how many years. And if he wouldn't have gone and been an arrogant cunt, they still wouldn't have caught him now.
No, that's the thing.
Yeah.
It probably still feel like in theory, I reckon if he hadn't been so arrogant and just let it be, he's still walking on right now.
I agree.
He could have gone on to kill more if he had been so arrogant. No sexual abuse or anything like that in his childhood. He had a perfectly normal childhood. That's what he's saying. There was nothing in his childhood that would make him turn out like that. Because there has been links with past serial killers who've had some sort of trauma in the childhood that has even made them go down the sympathy one and, wouldn't hurt a fly, to doing exactly what their abusers did to them and escalating that, making people feel the way that they felt when they were in that situation.
Yeah, man, that's crazy.
Just scary. It's scary that you just don't know who's walking around,
And the whole psychological side of things was down to Ted Bundy. He's part of the reason why the profiling thing came around, and it kept profiling serial killers, because I think they were chasing one serial killer, and I can't remember who it was specifically, and they went to Ted Bundy to say, if this was you, what would you do next? And I can't remember who it was. It might have been the Green Bay. It might have been the Green River Killer. I can't remember who it was. But they went to Ted Bundy to get his advice. And that's where the psychological profiling of a serial killer came about, thanks to Ted Bundy. Then went to Ted Bundy and said, if this was you, what would you do? And it kind of went from there. I'll see what else now.
Crazy.
Yeah, Ted Bundy helped catch the Green River Killer. I thought it was the Green River Killer. It's all right. Ted Bundy helped in the hunt for the Green River Killer, but his involvement was complex and not generally helpful. He provided insights to detectives from prison, but his most likely, his more like self-serving.
I agree, Rodders. Sleep with a baseball bat on deep pillow.
Yeah. But like Jess has said, though, the serial killers in America, oof, it's either go big or go home.
America's a very violent country, so.
Agreed.
We also have a huge interstate system, which allows people to move from state to state.
Yeah.
There's no communication, is there, between the police departments?
There is now. It used to be like when the Zodiac was killing people in California, all of the departments in California, those departments like weren't talking to each other. So you'd have a death in this county and then a death in this county and then a death over here. And like, because they weren't talking, they didn't know. Like they didn't know until journalists started kind of putting things together, but it's different now. There are different systems. The FBI has a good system that everybody can tap into and see what's going on. And the FBI is good about stepping in and helping when they're asked, like behavioral sciences unit, that sort of thing. So not like it used to be. They are all talking now.
I suppose that's a blessing.
It is. I think it allows people to be caught faster.
Very true.
Also, the internet.
It could be interesting.
The internet gets people caught faster.
What
are you doing next?
I don't know yet.
So next week it's Lynn and Megan Russell, which is Michael Stone. If anybody don't know it, that's the bloke who killed them, hit him over the head with a hammer when they were walking the dog home from school. That's a good one. So I'm going to do that one next week. And then...
I'll get that one. But like you said, I'm more American than I am the British one.
You might be better off including the Renee, and Renee help you out with some.
Yeah. So I'm thinking of the Green River Killer, because that's quite a juicy one, because he did quite a lot.
Yeah, that went on.
When he was caught, he was kind of same kind of on lines of Rader. He got away with so long.
Ted Bundy is the one that scares me the most of all the
Ted
American
Bundy
serial
Oh, Ted Bundy's one I've got a deep dive in because that one is so public anyway.
killers.
But because he used to charm it was the thing is when you back before Ted Bundy became public as a serial killer, they had a perception of what serial killers look like. So when Ted Bundy came about, that perception went straight out the window because he was good looking. There's no denying that. He was a good looking bloke. He was well educated. And he was a charmer. That's how he managed to get away with killing so many people because he charmed the pants off them. And he just
Another one that would be really good, Stace, is the Gainesville Ripper. That happened right before my family moved to Gainesville when my brother had just been born. My dad has a master's degree at the University of Florida. So that is what the movie Scream is based on, the Gainesville Ripper, which was terrifying.
Say that again. The what? Sorry.
Gainesville, Gaines, Ville Ripper.
Right, I'll have a look. It's quite familiar to me, that one. I mean,
Well,
just
Scream. That's the murders. That's the movie Scream is based on that. So really, really scary case.
Not bring her on. She'll bring a conspiracy, you know it.
No. But see what I mean? I don't think I would do the Ed Gein one because I think people will probably be more grossed out about that one after I shot.
Pretty bad. All I've heard lately about Gein is that there's that Netflix supposedly
I'm
this
not
movie.
gonna watch it. Apparently, from what I've read, there's been so many inconsistencies. I'm not gonna rock it.
They said it's not really about Ed Gein, so it's just made up stuff. But Ed Gein is what they based Texas Chainsaw Massacre on.
Yeah, and Silence of the Lambs and Psycho.
Silence of the Lambs is actually based on the Monster of Florence. So that's another one on Netflix. There's an Italian, it's like a mini series on the Monster of Florence. It was pretty good. I mean, that was never solved. So they still don't know who did those murders.
Rogers, just to tell you, when I first discovered that Ed Gein thing a couple of years ago, I deep dived into his case and the masks, the gloves, the body, the nipple belt, and stuff like that. I found it all, and I was just like, whoa. But the thing is, he's not actually classed as a serial killer, though, is he? Because he only killed 2 people. He mass robbed graves.
Only killed 2 people. Does it like it's no tomorrow?
You know, when you think of serial killers, it's more than 3. Then
it has to be over a certain period of time because Jack the Ripper is not technically a serial killer. He's a spree killer because it didn't go on long enough. No. So I've always thought that was interesting. I learned that in like a psychology class.
For me, I class Jack the Ripper as a serial killer, not a spree killer.
If you get really technical, he's a spree killer, unless there is some stuff that has come out, I don't know, within the past 20 years or so, where they think that the guy who was doing it might have come to America and been killing people in Chicago.
America. Yeah, I heard that.
And they think maybe that was the guy. So who knows?
John Wayne Gacy.
Or if you want to do a woman, you could do Eileen Wuornos. She's about the only American female serial killer I can think of.
Eileen, yeah, because they just did a document. I think in a documentary she dropped on Netflix. Watch that. They just did a movie, didn't they?
Charlize Theron. Was it like Monster?
Monster. Yeah, she
like
transformed herself.
Yeah.
She put on the weight and looked like her as well, which is like Dennis Nielsen.
If I were you, I would pick the Gainesville Ripper. That's one of the scariest cases.
Yeah, I love looking on them.
This one of the scariest cases I've ever seen.
The Jeffrey Dahmer one on Netflix. He looks like him.
He does.
You know what I mean? And then they did Dennis Nielsen, and they used David Tennant as Dennis Nielsen, and I love David Tennant. I mean, I love David Tennant.
He looked so fucking like me.
He creeped me out how much he looked like him. Like, wow. Just a window check.
Yeah.
routers. It will make you like make sure that your doors are locked.
Me, Rennie, and Jess were watching it, but I fall asleep watching crime documentary. I'll sit there in bed all night and watch them.
Right, peeps, I'm going to wrap this one up then. Next week it is. Tell you what it is. Wait a minute. Next Sunday it is Michael Stone. Next Sunday. If you've got time, I'll be looking to Michael Stone for next week, and then the week, not week after, but the week after that, I'm going to do White House Farm.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So they're my two that I'm going to be doing. Big up to everybody that's joined us tonight. It's been a pleasure as always. Well-behaved stream. Polished stream. There's no Naomi. You heard that, didn't you? Pretty polished. You did.
She's got to be asleep.
She's got to be.
Hope you enjoyed it. Big up, Drew Love. We will be back tomorrow for the football. Everton versus Sunderland. Big up to everybody. It's been a really nice stream. Everybody's been really respectful, so I appreciate that. We will be back tomorrow. Thank you so much for today, as always. And there's only one thing left to say. It's a good night from me.
And it's a good night from her. Don't have nightmares.
And it's a good night and lock your doors from me.
Oh my God, just for looking at your bed.
Don't let any random people into your house.
Exactly. And on that note, don't have nightmares. Switch a light on hallway before you go upstairs and check under your fucking bed. Lock your windows, lock your doors.
Jess.
What?
It's back up.
Yeah, no, I've seen it. And on that note, guys, we will see you all again tomorrow. Peace.
Leeds United, dancing bright, spend our army up all night,
Laughing, sharing, having fun. The beat goes on. We just begun.
like and share, let's all unite, Tottenham crew, feeling right, goodbye from me, from her, from us, the party's here, no need to rush.
Army strong, the baseline drops.
Spin around, the fun won't stop, laughs and cheers, a groove we made.